This is John Riegger, PGA Tour Champions Tour player.
All right. Wow. PGA Tour Champions player. All right.
Yeah, how you doing tonight, Jackson?
Doing all right. And yourself?
I'm doing great. Couldn't complain if I wanted to.
Yeah. All right, John, tell me a little bit about you.
I'm 60 years old now. Been playing the PGA Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, Champions Tour for the last 38 years. I've played professional golf pretty much all over the world. There's pretty much not any country that I haven't been to that has a golf tournament. Let's just put it that way, Jackson.
Hmm. So you've been golfing for how long?
38 years professionally.
Wow, that's insane. So you went pro 22, 23?
I was 21.
21. Okay. And was golf always the plan?
Pretty much ever since I was about 17 years old. So I went to Lamar University on a golf scholarship, had a really nice college career there, was an All-American, won several tournaments in college, and then turned professional and got on the PGA Tour right out of college.
Wow. What would you say is your most memorable moment playing on the tour?
I would have to say the tournament that I won on the Corn Ferry Tour when I had my son there to watch me win the golf tournament. And I made probably about a birdie putt on the last toe to win by one shot.
And how long was that birdie putt for the win?
20 feet.
20-foot putt.
Yes, sir.
20 feet for the win?
For the win. I was tied for the lead, birdied the last toe to win by one.
Wow. And who were you tied with?
I believe the kid's name was B.J. Staten.
BJ. Okay. Is he still playing, do you know?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. So, tell me something a little bit about you other than golf. Like, what are some hobbies that you like to do?
I have two hobbies that I really enjoy doing. One is bow hunting big white-tailed deer here in Illinois, and then the other is playing pool.
Cool.
Those are the two. I'm not playing golf, especially this time of the year. I'm bow hunting pretty much every day.
Do you think you're hustling me in pool?
Oh, absolutely.
We'll have to find out one of these days, huh?
Oh, we already have.
All right. So, growing up, where are you from?
I grew up in Metropolis, Illinois, which most people think Illinois, they think of Chicago, but I'm 6.5 hours south of Chicago, basically across the river from Paducah, Kentucky.
All right. And so is that your born state up there in Illinois in the south?
Born and raised here, left here at 18, went to Texas, spent 15 years in Texas, a few years in Florida, and then 22 years in Las Vegas.
All right. And how was growing up in such a small town like that?
There wasn't a lot to do, so it was all sports, hunting, fishing, anything outdoors.
Okay. And did you have any brothers or sisters?
No, only child.
Only child. And mom and dad was in the picture?
Mom and dad, they both work, so I basically raised myself.
Okay.
That's why I cook. I enjoy cooking as a hobby, so
Oh.
some say that barbecue, so I don't know. I don't think that it's that great, but all my friends do.
What's your favorite barbecue?
Got to be the pulled pork sandwich with vinegar-based barbecue sauce.
Can't go wrong with that. You do make a
No,
pretty
sir.
mean barbecue.
Yeah, that and a good steak.
Love steak. You do make some good steak too.
Yep.
All right, so going from a town like Metropolis to a town like Las Vegas, now the entertainment capital of the world, was that a huge change for you? Or since you did travel, you were traveling a lot, was it something new? Like, because obviously you weren't settling in those places in different cities or other countries, so having to settle in a town like that, was it a different lifestyle?
No, not really, because I lived in Houston, Texas for 15 years, which
Mm.
Houston's way bigger city than Las Vegas. And especially when I moved to Vegas in 98, Vegas wasn't what it is today. So,
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
having trips all over the world, the major cities, China, Australia, South Africa, all over South America, Mexico, all over Europe. So I was exposed to a lot of different environments when I was traveling and playing golf and being single at the time. So Las Vegas wasn't that big of a change, really, because when you live in Vegas, you don't spend time in the casinos gambling, because if you do, you're going to be broke.
Through experience, yeah.
Yep. No, not for me. I didn't. I didn't really gamble when I was in Vegas. Only thing I really ever did was play poker, and I actually did pretty well when I played poker. So I never was too much on going and playing blackjack or craps or anything like that, because you can't beat them.
You can beat them, but then they're going to beat you 10 times harder.
Well, I'll tell you, when I first moved to Vegas, I used to have to fly in coach, and so I'd hear people when I would be flying into Vegas. Oh, I'm coming to Vegas. I got $5,000 that I can lose. And then I would hear people when they would leave Vegas. Yeah, the first night I was there, I was up $1,500. The next day I was up $1,000. The third day I lost all the money that I'd won back, so I was back to even. And then I got a bad streak, and I ended up losing the 5 grand that I brought to Vegas to lose, that I could lose. So they went there in their mind that they were going to lose the 5 grand. Instead, if they were up 1,500 the first night, they should have just partied and had a good time and not gamble, and their trip would have been paid for. But people go there with the wrong misconception that they're going to beat the casinos, and it's just the longer you play, the more the odds are in their favor that you're going to lose.
Yeah, I agree. So it looks like someone on stream has a question for you. So
Okay.
the question is, what was your favorite country that you've played a tournament in?
Probably Colombia.
Colombia?
Yes, sir.
And why is that?
Most beautiful women in the world.
I can agree with that. I would say definitely top five. Top five.
Yeah, most of the most beautiful women are from South America, other than probably outside of Russia.
Oh, your DMs are about to be flooded after this. Anyways. Oh, I had a question, and we were talking about gambling, and it kind of flew over my head now. Um, oh yeah. So, are you still playing right now?
Actually, no, I'm not playing right now. I injured my back in the senior PGA championship in May of 22, and I have not played a tournament since then. But I'm been working out, getting stronger. My back's feeling better, so I'm hoping to
That's
make
good.
a return to competitive golf. Hopefully next year at the start of the year in February, and if not, I'm just gonna keep working and trying to get better and stronger, and do a little teaching in the meantime, and until I can get my game to where it's good enough to go back and start playing competitively.
Yeah, I'm sure even myself and everyone else, we'd definitely love to see you get back out there and play. Do you have any teaching experience since you said that you want to start teaching? Like, have you taught anybody before?
Yeah, I've taught several of my friends that are on the PGA Tour, the Champions Tour. Brian Gay, he won 4 times when I was helping him. He wasn't paying me, but I was still playing on the PGA Tour at the same time. And then on the Champions Tour, I've worked with Darren Clark and changed his whole world around. He's a former Open Championship winner, Ryder Cup member, Ryder Cup captain, very well known player. And I started helping him in 21, and we played in some of the same tournaments, and I was beating him. And then when COVID happened, I was working with him, and then he was stuck in the Bahamas for 6 months, couldn't leave the country, and comes out after I'd been teaching him and wins his first 2 tournaments. So I want to think that I had a little bit something to do with his success. So I didn't get any credit for it on TV, but he did pay me pretty well, so I'm not going to complain.
And you also just recently teached a kid that won one of his first tournaments. Is that right?
No. I started helping a young kid that's a local here, plays on the Corn Ferry Tour, and he was really struggling big time, couldn't make a cut, and I started working with him. And in his second tournament, he had his first top 10, and then a few weeks later had a 4th place finish. But he basically made more money this year when I started helping him, after I started helping him, than he'd made in his entire career, made more cuts, doubled his top 10 finishes for his career just in the short period of time, that I started helping him.
That's pretty impressive. And how long were you helping him out and instructing him for?
I started helping him in May of this year, and I'm still, when I can't see him in person, I just do it over FaceTime or Zoom, or he'll send me swings and I'll look at them, analyze them, send them back, tell him what he needs to do, show him instructional videos that he needs to try to work on certain aspects of his swing. But it's mainly working with professional athletes. It's not so much the physical, it's more, believe it or not, it's more the mental, just giving them a good mental cue in their mind. Because actually, to change somebody that's been playing professionally for, like myself, for me to try to change my swing, it may feel different, but it's still going to look the same to everybody else. So it basically boils down to the mental aspect of being a coach and giving them the right information and just being a good listener also.
All right. So I have a question for you. Someone that has, probably for myself, I'd probably say I have a natural swing, right? But I don't really have much experience, right? So I'm probably someone on the side of that doesn't have much golf experience, so probably like beginner, right? Probably beginner golfer.
Beginner level, yeah.
Okay.
Advanced, just because you're very athletic, got good hand-eye coordination.
Can you repeat that? I think it cut out.
I said just because you're athletic, I would say you're an advanced beginner because you have really good hand-eye coordination.
Okay. So, all right. So when it comes to golf and the skill levels, how would you break it down from beginner, advanced beginner, maybe like intermediate, advanced intermediate to like professional? Like what are the different levels of golf skill?
Well, a beginner, somebody that's never played, but a beginner's actually easier to teach and give lessons to because they don't have any bad habits. You take somebody that's been playing golf for 20 years and never had a lesson, and they've got all these bad habits ingrained, so it's going to take a lot longer to change somebody or help somebody that's been playing for a long time and not doing anything the proper way. This day and time, fundamentals are not really taught in the golf swing, and there are certain fundamental things that you do before you even make a swing that's going to dictate your golf swing, and that's a lost art in teaching these days because of all the high-tech information out there. They can measure everything nowadays. I mean, what body weight is doing. They have pressure mats. They have TrackMan that tells you all the club data, the golf ball data. They have 3D imaging. I mean, they have so much stuff out there. They're trying to make it into a science, but at the end of the day, there are certain 5 fundamentals that you have to do before you even swing. And that's going to dictate your golf swing. And then once you get there, as long as you have educated hands and know what they should be doing at the moment of impact, that's where what really matters. And if you can learn that, then you can learn to play good golf.
What are the 5 fundamentals of the golf swing?
Well, first off, you have to have a good posture. And so that's going to distribute your weight so you stay in balance, because in any sport you have to have good balance. If you're off
100%.
balance, it's not going to be as powerful.
100%.
You have to have a good grip. So once your hands are on the golf club, they're like clamps. They don't do anything else other than hold on to the golf club. Now, your wrist will move, but your hands don't do anything. They're not doing this. That's bad in golf. Your wrist will do that, but your hands are just like clamps. Then you have to have good alignment. Then you need to have good visual alignment to match your body alignments. And I know that kind of sounds odd, but if your head's kind of cockeyed and your eyes are going out to the right, it's going to determine how you take the club back. Vice versa, if your head is not positioned right and your eyes are looking out this way, the club's going to go out to the right. So you're making a lot of different compensations when you're talking about your golf swing. So, if you have a good stationary head and you can turn around your center, which is your spine, transferring your weight and everything the proper way, and then syncing up the turning of your body with your arms and hands swinging at the same time. And, it's the golf swing is actually so simple, it's hard.
And then I think there's 2 more to the fundamental of the golf swing. We got the first 3.
Ball position is very crucial. So if the ball's too far forward, you're catching it on the front part of the arc. So now you're going to hit a slice. If you have it too far back, you're going to catch it on the backside. So now the club's going out this way. You're going to hit hooks or you're going to push it. So ball position is a fundamental that is not taught this day and time.
We got 1 more.
Well, last fundamental is basically having educated hands. And when I say educated hands, it's like I was saying a minute ago, if your hands are if you have the hands properly on the golf club and you come into impact with the rotation of the body and the swinging of the arms, and you have a flat left wrist at impact, it's hard to hit a bad golf shot. So educated hands are very important.
All right, so we got posture, the grip,
Posture, alignment, grip,
alignment, visual alignment, educated
ball
hands.
position.
That's good. That's some free game right there on the 5 fundamentals. Where can we learn that at? www.johnriegergolfacademy.com. That's right. All right, so JR, what is the goal for John Riegger Golf Academy? What does the academy offer?
The academy offers, whether you're a beginner, an intermediate player, a college player, or even a tour professional. I've broken down the golf swing from the fundamentals, start up the golf swing, the top of the swing, every section of the golf swing. I've broken down and simplified it and easy to follow instructions of how it should be. Everybody's body's different, so their swing is going to look different, but the movements and golf is not a position sport. Like, you don't take it from P1 to P2, P2 to P3. The club moves through those. So those are just checkpoints. And that's how you learn to teach yourself. And so the way that I went about with the videos that we have in John Riegger Golf Academy is I'm trying to teach you to teach yourself. Show you different drills, what it should explain to you, what it should feel like at a certain part of the golf swing. Because if you make a certain move, you should have a certain feel to coincide with that. And I cover everything from driving to iron play to chipping, putting, bunker play, the golf swing, all the P positions, P1 through P10. And like I said, golf is not a positional sport or swing. It moves through those positions. They're just checkpoints. So you can monitor how you are improving in your golf swing. And you always have a little bit of a variance one way or the other in your swing. But the more precise that you can make it, the more precise that golf ball is going to be coming off that club face.
Right. Yeah. How many videos do you have shot? Probably like 300 plus.
I think we have over 300.
Yeah. Wow. Of just all educational golf videos and instruction as well. Wow. That's a lot. Okay. And what other services do you offer for the academy?
Well, we offer swing analysis where you can send a swing in. I'll look at it, analyze it, draw lines on it, do a voiceover, send it back to you, give you some ideas of different drills or what drill to look at on the website to, this is your issue that you're having. You need to watch these videos, work on this to improve, the fault. You want to try to find the first, like I like to say, the leaky part of your golf swing. So whether it's in startup or at the top of the back, wherever the first part is that you have a little bit of a wobble point, that's where you got to start. And everybody's different. There's no cookie cutter, everybody does it this way. And a lot of the golf instruction out there today, they try to make everybody swing the same way, and it's just not possible. Everybody has physical limitations on their flexibility, whether it be in their upper torso, their hips, whatever. And so you have to build your own golf swing.
Exactly. And that kind of ties into the next question that I was actually about to ask you. With the golf lesson plans that you offer, how would a golf lesson plan work for an individual, maybe for like myself?
Well, it all depends if you can do a lesson plan and do it just like the video analysis, but do it like we're talking right now over, FaceTime or Zoom or Skype. I've helped people, players that I do teach when they're on the road playing, they've been overseas playing and they call me at midnight and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning there and I'm giving them a lesson just like you and I are talking. Now, if you want to do in person, it's either coming to me or flying me out to where you're at,
Right.
which is, going to be a little bit more costly. So that's why mostly tour players, they can afford that high price tag that comes from me working with them in person.
Right. So if we were to do a FaceTime video like this, right? How would we kind of go about that? Would I just set my camera up? Like, is there a certain view that you're looking for when we're going over like swinging? Like, are we kind of just talking about the golf game in general? Am I showing you the swing? Or because, like you said, every golfer is going to be different for what they need with their golf swing. So just give an example. If it was you and myself working, how would we kind of go about getting a golf lesson plan, getting me started to trying to get my golf game, just trying to get my skills up, get into the next level.
Well, most people that get to that stage of me giving them an online lesson, like how we're talking right now, I've already probably done a few swing analysis, so I kind of already have a MO of what they do in their golf swing. So I would have you set up your phone just like you have it right now, and I would have you down the line, which is I'd be be like me standing behind you watching you hit it down the fairway. So we call that down the line.
Okay.
So I would have you hit some shots from that view. And then I would go and be like, if I was standing on the tee box and I was looking at you face on, we call that the caddy view. And so when you set up the camera, you always want to have it at waist height. Okay. And so the reason that it's waist height is because it's a better for drawing lines and everything. So if we're doing it live, like we're talking right now, if I'm watching you, I'll say, all right, well, I need you to do this. I would explain to you. And if I had to, I can show you take a golf club and show you, this is what you need to be doing. I can tell you this is what it should feel like. Your weight should feel like it's going into your right heel, not to the outside of your right foot. It depends on what is needed to be told to the student based on what they're doing.
Okay, that's good. Let's see. So, what would be the uphand with, obviously there's a lot of golf teachers out there, right, that are trying to get themselves out there. What puts you at a higher leverage than most of all of these other teachers that are trying to instruct and teach?
Well, I'm not going to say that I know everything or that I'm better than anybody, because there's a lot of guys out there when it comes to the new technology that are way smarter than I am. I think that I have the ability to break everything down to the simplest form to where your average person that doesn't know all the terminology when you're dealing with TrackMan or force plates or 3D, they're not going to understand it. And basically, all that new technology is not going to help somebody that's just starting out playing golf, because they can't make the same golf swing 2 times in a row. All that stuff is great for working with tour players because we're so precise in what we're doing. And so I like to think of myself, old school teacher, I don't need a video of somebody swinging to tell them what they're doing wrong. Now, if I'm not with them, yeah, I need a video to be able to see their swing. But if I'm in person with somebody, I don't need all the gadgetry. That's all it is. And a lot of students out there believe like, oh, well, if my golf instructor doesn't have a TrackMan, he must not know what he's talking about. Well, look, like I said, most golfers that are taking golf lessons can't make the same golf swing 2 times in a row, so their TrackMan numbers are going to be so bad it's be like, and they're not going to understand it to begin with. And if me as a teacher, if I need that to teach somebody at that level, I'm not a very good teacher.
And you do have a TrackMan.
I do have a TrackMan.
Yeah.
I have all the gadgetry stuff, but I use it for me personally. I do use it with students, but just to show them certain parameters, because like I said, their swing path, might one time be 5 degrees out to the right, and the next swing might be 5 degrees out to the left. So that's a 10-degree variance. When I personally work on my golf swing, I'm working on less than 0.5 degrees, which is 1 degree is a tick on your second hand on your watch. So that's very, very small. And I'm dealing within half a degrees increments, not 10 degrees increments.
Wow, this is a lot of knowledge to consume. I think all these golfers are going to be eating this up here. What's a question that you wish I maybe would have asked you during this little interview?
Why wasn't I more successful than I was?
Oh. Do you have the answer for that?
Well, that's the $10 million question. So if I had the answer, I probably would have done it a long time ago. All my friends on tour, they're like, why aren't you winning 3 or 4 times a year? And I'm like, well, if I knew that, I would be doing it. But I'm one of the biggest underachievers. I was too much of a perfectionist, had a lot of different things that transpired throughout my entire career that happened, that setbacks, that are not so much to do with physical or golf. It was outside of golf stuff, out of your control, that, little setback here or there. And golf's hard enough without all the outside distractions. And, one of the best instances, I was playing the best golf of my life, and my dad passed away. Well, that had a big effect on my career, and especially early in my career. And back then it was, if you weren't on tour, you had to go through tour school, and that only come around once a year. And if you didn't make it, then you had to wait a whole nother year. So that's why I played overseas. I won tournaments all around the world. I mean, I've had a good career. It could have been way better. And especially once I 50, I kept getting better. Though, I was 48 years old, still playing on the PGA Tour. There was only two other guys on the PGA Tour that were older than me, and they were a year older, and that was it.
Who was that? Who
So
were you playing with that was older than you?
BJ Singh and Mark Calcavecchia. BJ Singh's a Hall of Famer. Mark Calcavecchia won an Open Championship, won a lot of tournaments on the PGA Tour, on the Champions Tour. So I mean, to have that longevity and still have, I was still hungry. The older I got, I was still hungry because I didn't have the superstar career. I was like a journeyman. I'd play on tour a couple of years, lose my card, go to the Corn Ferry Tour, go back to the PGA Tour. Early in my career was on tour, go overseas and play, be successful there, get back to the PGA. It was just, I had a roller coaster ride of a career. Would I change anything? No, because I learned a lot, and that's why I have a lot of the information that I have, is because I was always striving, no matter how I perform, to be better. And sometimes when you try to get better, you get worse, and it affects you. And, when I turned 50, I let all that stuff go out the door and just started playing golf and didn't worry about like a lot of the stuff we're talking about because I already had it. And I was fortunate that I won in my fifth start on the Champions Tour. I mean, you take a guy like Steve Stricker that dominates the Champions Tour and has already clinched the Charles Schwab Cup this year with 2 playoff events still going. He don't even have to play it. He's going to win. It took him 14 tournaments before he won his first tournament. And a lot of other great players. I've only had 1 win on the Champions Tour, but I can name you 2 Hall of Famers off the top of my head that only have 1 win more than I did. Mark O'Meara's only won twice on the Champions Tour. Corey Pavin's only won once on the Champions Tour. So that tour's hard. I was good friends with Bernhard Langer. I was fortunate to beat him down the stretch in the first tournament that I won. And after that, I became good friends with him and would talk to him. And in my mind, in my opinion, having been around sports and watching sports my whole life, he's the greatest athlete of all time. He just won the senior championship at the age of 66.
Wow.
He's been playing professional golf since he was 16. So for 50 years, he's played professional golf.
Wow. The GOAT. Bernhard Langer's the GOAT?
I think he's the greatest athlete of all time. I mean, who can play a professional sport for 50 years and still compete at the level that he competes at? There's great athletes from other sports, but for him to do it for decade after decade after decade and still to be winning at 66 years old,
that's pretty impressive. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. Wow. Mr. Langer. I'm fortunate enough to even meet him, too. Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
And his son.
That's right.
That's pretty cool. All right, JR. What would you say you struggled the most in your golf game? Like in what department, whether that's chipping, driving, putting, golf strategy, maybe not even struggled. What do you think you could have improved to make your golf game better?
Well, when I played the PGA Tour, from tee to green, I was as good as anybody. But I did not get the most out of rounds. I might go out and I play great and shoot 66 or 67, come out the next day and play exactly the same way and shoot 73 or 74. My short game, it's not like I was bad at anything because I was playing on the PGA Tour, but the guys out there are so good from 100 yards and in. And my weakest part of my game was my putting. And that's all I ever practiced was putting. And it wasn't until I got close to 50 and started using aim point that I realized why I didn't hold as many putts as other guys is because I would always hit my approach shot hole high. Well, when you hit it hole high, you're generally going to have the biggest breaking putt that you can have. And so once I learned that and then went to the Champions Tour, that's why I had way more success on the Champions Tour is because I learned that, but that information didn't come out until I was like 46 or 47. So, but I did take advantage of it, when I was on the Champions Tour and had a lot of success out there until they changed everything about my fourth year. And then I basically had to go and start Monday qualifying. And even then I didn't get in a lot of tournaments, but I still made good money. I had 2 chances to win the senior PGA on 2 really great old time golf courses. And, it is what it is. I think I had a good career. I wouldn't say a great, but I had a good career, was able to provide for my family and, get to travel the world and provide and, so I don't regret anything. I wish that, and I hope that I can get back out there and playing because I'm still too competitive and I feel like that, even though I'm 60 years old, I don't feel 60. I don't act 60. So, I still think that, if I could get back out there, that I could still win. Honestly. And if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't even try.
That's real. Someone that, yeah, I'm just throwing a bunch of questions at you, and I'm just throwing a bunch of different pitches, right? But someone that does want to get to that next level of golf, say maybe they're a college student, high school student, or someone that works, so it's not like they have all day and night or every day to go out and practice, right? Maybe, let's say a couple days throughout the week, couple times throughout the week to maybe go out and get out on the course to get some practice in, right? But of course, at home they can practice some drills, some stuff on the academy to try to learn and develop a better golf swing and better golf game. How consistent does one need to be to really see improvement on their swing?
Well, that's a great question. And first off, I've been helping the high school team here where I live here in Metropolis, and these young kids are motivated. They want to go to college and try to play. And I can tell you, people have no idea how much hard work and dedication is put in to get to those next levels. Whether you're a high school player trying to go to college, a college player trying to go pro, playing the Corn Ferry Tour versus going to the PGA Tour. For me personally, and you can verify this, for as many millions of golf balls as I've hit in my life, when I was at home and not at the golf course, I was always swinging a golf club in front of a reflection in the window or in front of a mirror, or practicing my putting. It's
Almost
the
every
little
day.
things that you can do without even going to the golf course. Swinging in front of a mirror is like one of the best ways to train, going through the different positions of the swing. You get more feel and feedback doing that than standing out there just willy-nilly hitting range balls and one going this way, one going this way. And, you can't learn anything that way. And there's a process and a certain way to work on things. And then the other thing is, taking care of your body, working on your body.
How can I work on my body for my golf swing?
Well, there's so much information out there nowadays compared to when I started. When I started, they said lifting weights was bad for you. Tiger Woods changed that. Now, the internet and YouTube is filled with workout routines that are golf specific. There's certain muscle groups. Your core needs to be strong. Your quads, your glutes need to be strong. Your calves, your tricep muscles. You need to have strong wrist muscle, forearm. So there's ways, to test to see where you're weak, your flexibility. It's to play professional golf. Not only did I travel all the time, weeks at a time, in hotel rooms and spend 6 to 8 hours a day at the golf course that when I was off the golf course, I never stopped thinking about it. I was out, my brain was always going, how can I get better? What do I need to do? You're always analyzing and picking your brain, which the older I got, then I realized that there was probably parts of times in my career that I over practiced. I didn't have this lifestyle over here, because I had so much pressure on me from the outside. People, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got family, there's just so much going on. And I'm not making an excuse. That's how I perceived it. So I always just focused, I was just like, what do you call it? Narrow-minded focus.
Tunnel vision.
And my brain never stopped because I'm a perfectionist and I'm going to work, and I'm not scared to work. If I needed to work on something, I didn't work on my strengths because they weren't going anywhere. I always worked on my weaknesses, which later in my career, I learned, well, you need to practice your strengths because your weaknesses are always going to be your weakness. But I don't feel that way because I saw how I improved my putting from PGA Tour days to Champions Tour days. And I did. I improved my putting. And so there's two thoughts on that. Practice your strengths. Don't worry about your weaknesses. But I think the other way around. So, try to get everything as high as you can get it.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like you said, the weakness will always be your weakness, but you can definitely maybe not get it to like your highest strength, but you could you could definitely improve it. And I think like I'll kind of like go off with like for basketball, for example, because I was always the scrawny skinny kid that if I try to get in the paint, go and drive, I was kind of scared to get fouled or get like just blocked down by the big, so I always stayed on the perimeter shooting the ball, and that was the only thing I worked on, bettered my strength in that, and that's like the only thing that I do, and it tends to work out pretty well for me on the basketball court. But yeah, definitely when it comes to golf, I could definitely see boosting your strengths and as well your weaknesses, trying to improve those skills for sure.
It all rolls back to this. It all comes back to the mind, because if you put in the work, like the great Gary Player used to say, the harder and longer I practice, the luckier I get. So if you go and you put the work in and you just see a little bit of an improvement or result, you can't measure confidence by any means. I've seen it happen to guys that, playing terrible, and all of a sudden they just have that one miracle week and they win. And now their confidence goes from here to here, and they didn't do anything different. Their game's still the same. They go out, still play bad, but because their confidence is at a different level, their whole game changes.
So confidence does help with the golf game, having the confidence.
Yeah. With anything in life, it's like, looking at that beautiful model sitting at the end of the bar down there, and you walk up to her and try to talk to her, and she just kind of sloughs you off. Well, kind of, it affects your confidence. But you go over there again and you talk to her and she starts talking to you. Now where's your confidence? Now you think you can go up to any damn woman, right?
Oh, yeah.
Confidence, like I said, it doesn't matter whether you're riding a bicycle, playing the piano, playing golf, sports, whatever, anything in life. If you're a confident person, you can't measure confidence. And the more confidence that you gain, the more success that you will have.
That hit deep. Let that soak in for a sec for all the viewers watching. And for anyone listening. Can you repeat that one more time, just that last section?
What, the confidence?
Yeah. Just the last thing you said.
Confidence, the more it grows, the more that you can accomplish. When you're confident, you feel like that you can do anything. When you're not confident, that's when you're shy and you're timid and you can't go up and talk to somebody or stand up in front of 10,000 people and give a 2-minute speech. If you have the confidence and you do it that one time, you're confident that you can do it. So the next time you got to talk in front of 100,000 people, it's no big deal. I remember playing one year at the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and I got paired with Glenn Fry, one of the greatest musicians of all time, with the Eagles. So I go to the first tee, and we're playing in the third to last group on Sunday. So Pebble Beach is the first tee's kind of real enclosed. And they were about 5 deep on both sides of the tee box, around it, down the side, down the fairway for about 100 yards. So there was probably several thousand people just right there on the first tee. And I walk up on the tee. I've never met Glenn Fry in my life. I walk up, I introduce myself, and he goes, I am so nervous. I'm like, why are you nervous? He goes, look at all these people. I'm like, so? He goes, aren't you nervous? I was like, no, I don't see them. I was like, he goes, I'm shaking. I was like, what's the biggest crowd that you've ever played, a concert in front of? He goes, oh, probably 150,000 people. I was like, were you nervous? He goes, no. He goes, but that was something that I knew and I was good at. He goes, I'm not that good at golf. I'm worried that I'm going to hit it off the end of the club and hit somebody in the head. I was like, let me give you a tip. You step up there and you just look right through them. I see the crowd, but I don't see people. I just see like a blob of people. It's not like I can recognize anybody or, like when you and your sister and mom would come out to tournaments, you might be in a crowd of people. I didn't see it because I'm looking at the crowd, but I don't see people. I just kind of, they're there, but I don't pay attention. So I was never nervous playing in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, confidence. Having a musician play in front of 150,000 people, but couldn't play in front of probably maybe a couple hundred or less than 100.
No, it was a few thousand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But it scared. I mean, he was literally shaking. I mean, his hands was shaking. And then he shot a hit off that first hit, and he walked up to me, put his arm around me. He goes, thanks for that bit of confidence that you gave me, a little tip there. And I'm like, hey, I didn't do anything. It was all you. So I tried to be confident more.
That's good. Team
But
player.
super nice guy.
Who are 3 players, whether that could be like a pro-am where a celebrity comes in or just another golfer on the tour, who are like 3 players that you really loved and enjoyed playing with and even had fun playing?
That's a good question there. Man, that's a tough one. I've got to play with so many different people, celebrities, other athletes. Albert Pujols, I got to play with him in a pro-am. That was pretty cool. Got to play with Mark McGuire quite a bit. Played with MJ. I still run into him every now and then. That's really hard to say. There's nobody that just really sticks out like, man, I wish I could hang out with them again. Because everybody's different. Everybody goes to their own beat, And people, whether it's Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan or Donald Trump, at the end of the day, people are just people. They're not any different than you. You're right. I have a lot of people because they think, oh, I'm a pro golfer. They like I'm something special. And then I'm like, look, I like to hunt. I like to fish.
Well, you have talent and skill in the game. So in the sense, we are people. But I would say when it comes to the actual sport in general, it does put you at a little bit of a higher leverage. Could you agree with that?
Yeah, but I don't, there are guys that I do know that, just because they're pro golfer, they're like, oh, I'm Mr. Somebody, I'm just me, What you see with me is what you get. I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't kiss ass to nobody, and I tell it like it is. And if you don't like it, then so what? I don't give a shit. I don't care what people think. I worry about doing what I can do and what I can control, and that's all that matters.
Keep it real. Keeping it real. All right. That was pretty good. Trying to think of maybe a couple more questions.
I gotta go.
Oh, you got to go?
Yeah.
JR's going to cut it short?
Not short. I'm like, need something to drink. I need to use the bathroom. Watch this basketball game.
Hey, JR, I'm glad that we were able to arrange this and make it happen. I had a good time, and I actually had a lot of fun asking you all these questions. Actually.
Yeah, well, anytime you need to, write down a few more questions and give a little bit more thought into the questions that you're asking me, so I can really show my true colors in my
Oh.
wealth have.
Hey, whenever the school projects came up, I would always wing it. So how we did just now, I kind of winged it, but hey, I think it still was pretty good. I think it was still good.
Yeah. Not bad for your boy from Southern Illinois.
Not bad. All right.
Not bad.
We'll break it down like this. JR, thank you so much for hopping on. This damn dog is barking. I'm about to go kick her. No, I'm just kidding. I might have to bleep that out. But till next time, maybe we'll do a part 2 pretty soon, huh?
Part 2, and always hit them straight.
Always hit them straight. All right, action. Big Buck is out of here. Love you, Pops. Have a good rest of your night. Enjoy the NBA game, all right?
Yep, I love you.
All right, love you too. Bye.